So I just got back from seeing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and unfortunately, it was a huge disappointment. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't bored, it was entertaining enough. I liked the characters a good bit and the actors that portrayed them. There were some exciting sequences, but when it came to the movie as a whole, I had some big problems with it. To give you some context, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, and some of that's because of the limitations of telling a story just at a school with school-aged children. And so I was excited about this movie because I think the world of Harry Potter and the possibilities there are immense and incredible, but we hadn't gotten to see the full potential of that because of those limitations. I thought that this story, setting it in New York City with adults, with creatures running wild amongst the city, would live up to that potential. And while certain scenes did live up to that potential, overall, it didn't come together for me, and for 7 main reasons. Here they are. First off, the story felt like it lent itself better to a Netflix series rather than a movie. So in it, Newt shows up with a briefcase of animals or creatures. They get free and he has to track them down. Meanwhile, there's this big plot brewing amongst the United States wizarding governance, and there's evil creatures that are killing people not related to him. Well, that lends itself very well to about a 10-episode season where in episode 1 he shows up, and then in episodes 2 through 8 you have him trying to track down the animals. In there he gets arrested. There's some side directions. I keep saying animals, they're creatures. But so he's trying to track them down, and then we get in around the 7th episode, it all starts coming together, and we've gotten little hints and little teases of this bigger plot. It all comes together. The last few episodes, he has to save the city, everybody gets involved. That's what this feels like. But the way it played out was just so many story elements crammed into this short little story. And so it felt rushed. It felt like we were jumping from like story about tracking down creatures to the evil government and the bad guys, Grindelwald's out there. And then we've got this abused kid going on. And there's all these things going on, and they didn't feel like they meshed together very nicely. Number 2, uneven tone. So in this movie, you would cut between a scene of Newt trying to track down some wacky creature with fun music playing while he's sliding along on ice, and then we'd cut to a clearly emotionally troubled kid who's an orphan being beaten by an abusive woman. And we're cutting between these two things just back and forth. It's like, do, it's quirky, it's fun, and then whack, smacking a kid around. And like, he's sitting there crying, he's like doing an incredible job of acting, so you're like just watching it like, I'm so uncomfortable. And then we cut back to the, the plucky sidekick like, I'm so weird, I want a bakery. And that's so jarring to go back and forth. And this is where I say this would have worked much better, even this story as it was, in a Netflix series, because you sprinkle in these dark elements as kind of the end of an episode or just like scene in the middle of it, as opposed to one scene is just wacky and the next scene is so dark and harsh, and you could build towards it in a way that's much more even and feels balanced, as opposed to here where it's just like getting knocked over the face with suddenly dealing with abuse in this fun story. Third problem with this movie is that too many of the major events happen because of coincidence and stupidity. Especially the first half of this movie, the Newt character's not very likable or enjoyable because he's doing so many stupid things that are going to get him in trouble. If you know anything about the world of Harry Potter, even if you don't know anything about Harry Potter, when you've got this guy walking around with a briefcase filled with creatures, he's like, oops, they got out. I'll run around, sneak around. I'll introduce this guy to magic. We'll kind of run around. I wonder if I'll get caught doing this. Like, you're watching it just thinking, this is stupid. Of course you're going to get in trouble. And then the wizard lady, cop lady, walks into multiple meetings of her people she's trying to impress and just walks in there like, hey, I gotta tell you something. And you see it and you go, why would you do that? Like, you're going to make a fool of yourself. You're going to get in trouble. Like, as we were watching it, my wife goes, oh, this isn't going to go well. And if you're watching the movie thinking that about an adult doing that, and that's what's driving the plot forward, is these sort of coincidences and the stupidity of characters, and they're not thinking through their actions when they're going to have big, large ramifications, it feels like a cobbled together script where they didn't come up with clever ideas to move the story forward, so they just had to make the people stupid. Problem number 4 with this movie is after Doctor Strange, I don't think we can have any more scenes of wizards just standing there pointing at each other with magic wands, and that's okay. Like when I saw Doctor Strange a few weeks ago and they're like jumping off walls, bouncing, transporting, bending reality, and then we see this movie and it's just kind of like people pointing at each other. As soon as that stuff happens, it feels so dull in a post-Doctor Strange world. We've seen what you can do with magic. And even in this movie, there's some great visuals where you see them kind of, the wizards rebuilding buildings, and there's these transport effects that are really cool. And then you see them pew, 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 just standing there, and all of the coolness is gone. They didn't come up with a clever way to do something. And we live in a world where someone has. They did it in movie number 1 with Doctor Strange, whereas we're on movie number 9 of the Harry Potter verse. And they're still just standing there doing this and, with lightning effect shooting at them. It doesn't cut anymore. This is kind of a minor one, but it popped out to me when I saw them do this again. Problem number 5, we got a Scooby-Doo ending. We get to the end of the movie, and it's like, oh no, why is Colin Farrell so evil? And then we rip the mask away. Oop, it's Johnny Depp behind the mask. Oh, it was Grindelwald all along. That's who was really doing all this. And maybe it's because the news had kind of leaked that Johnny Depp was kind of going to be in the series and future ones. I just assumed that he was going to appear in this movie. I'd heard enough just from the headlines. Maybe I don't know if that was leaked or if they leaked it or if they released that. But that was a terrible mistake that, like, for me as a guy that follows movie news, I just was assuming, all right, this guy's going to end up being Johnny Depp at the end, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I read that. I might have. I'm not really sure what I did and did not see. And how much I just put together things in my mind. But I was like, yeah, they're going to have like a Scooby-Doo ending. And then they did. And in particular, I don't know why they needed to do it. You had an A-class actor. So Colin Farrell maybe hasn't been like a big, gigantic star recently, but he's that level of talent. You got a great actor in the part. And then it's like, we got to reveal who he really is. But in the world of the movies, revealing that it's Johnny Depp, it doesn't make any, like, we're just seeing a different face. You could have done that different face with Colin Farrell. You could have had like, whoop, his hair changed color and his eyes got funky. You could have done that with him, but no, we got to put an actor there, which is only like a surprise because we know who Johnny Depp is. And so we're surprised to see him in the movie. So my wife was like, whoa, Johnny Depp's in this. I didn't know that was coming. But that's not a good plot twist. That's like, I saw it coming. Like, you were waiting for him to appear because they kept teasing that he was coming, and boop, there he is. Scooby-Doo ending. Problem number 6, we got the Johnny Depp problem, is that Johnny Depp has overstayed his welcome in wacky makeup with wacky haircuts and eye stuff going on. So when it happened, I was like, oh, this is just more wacky Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a great actor. He has so much potential to be a world-class talent that his legacy will be that he was able to make big blockbusters successfully and someday win an Oscar. I don't think he's won an Oscar yet. He has the potential for that, but instead he's chosen to spend the last 10 years putting on white makeup on his face, getting a wacky haircut, talking in a funny voice, and just being this weird guy. All the Jack Sparrow effect of that made him famous, and he became this A-list actor, and he just hasn't stopped doing it. Pirates of the Caribbean kind of ruined him as an actor, as an entertainer that gets paid lots of money. That's fine. But so in the movie, as I said, the movie doesn't earn this big, like, whoa, look who it is, because you just kind of get a reveal that the bad guy is a bad guy. We've seen the bad guy is Graves, Colin Farrell playing Graves, do terrible things, so we didn't like him anyway. So just revealing he's Grindelwald isn't like this big, whoa, look what just happened. The reason that it's a big, whoa, look what just happened is only because of pre-existing knowledge that we, the audience, have that it's Johnny Depp. And so that's not all that great of a plot twist in a movie. And I don't want to see Johnny Depp do more of this stuff. And that's what it was. Like, when I saw I was going to be in this, I was hoping we're going to get good Johnny Depp, the actor, and instead it looks like we're getting the wacky entertainer. Problem number 7, the wizarding governance is once again portrayed to be really the ultimate evil in the Harry Potter world. And this is the one for me that actually kind of kills this series, where I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if I want to watch any more of these Harry Potter movies as a non-fan, just watching them, because the governance system seems so corrupt, but it's kind of treated that way, but not really. It's not treated enough as the big villain that needs needs to be brought down. It's treated as, oh, they make mistakes. They don't pick up on the bad. Oh, they're kind of corrupt. And in this movie, like the detective lady shows up and like, hey, I need to tell you something. And they're like, you're a moron. Get out of here. The next day she shows up and like, hey, I got to tell you something. There's this guy. And they're like, what? Why didn't you tell us before today? Well, because you shut her down. And then as the movie progresses, the governance system is not made to look any better. They only get worse as they sentence people to death for little mistakes. And it's like a really creepy, weird, like, we're just going to kill you without a trial immediately. That's the governance system. They kill people like that. And then we get to the climax of the movie and we're trying to battle the evil, the bad guy. And it turns out that it's like this kid that's been abused and trying to figure out what to do with his powers. And so he turns into this weird evil thing. And two of our good guys are about to talk him down from being bad. And then the governance system, the wizard people show up, kill him. They kill him in cold blood because he's not fighting back. It's not like they could have maybe even worked in. He was too far gone, so he was trying to kill people, and so they had to kill him. No. He's standing there calming down, and they just walk up and kill him. And then afterwards, our main good guys don't go like, you were wrong, we're going to bring you. Nope. They listen to them and like, you got to wipe that guy's mind. Everyone's got to be fair here. We got to take out everybody's memories that are non-magic people of what happened. And they go through with it. Now they cheated a little bit, but they don't fight the system. So if they were setting up in this, that in the next 4 movies, since apparently they're doing 5 of these, is that they're going to go to war with the governance and bring them down, I'd be all for it. Like, those are the main bad guys. I actually can understand why Grindelwald was like, these policies are stupid, because they are. They're terrible policies by an authoritarian wizarding government that we should hate and oppose. But that's not what they're setting up here. They're like, oh, we just got to obey these people. And we know they're not going to tear down this government because in Harry Potter, this sort of stuff still exists. It's still just as bureaucratic, authoritarian, and evil. But that's the world of Harry Potter. That's what they keep giving us. And I just can't deal with these stories all that much. It just drives me crazy. Like, the climax of this movie, it like peaks with the government comes in and kills an abused kid. That's the end of this movie. The governing people come in and kill someone in cold blood without a trial, without doing anything. And it's not portrayed like we're supposed to be sad, like, oh man, they shouldn't have, that's too bad they did that. But that's not the weight we should have. Our response should be, that's evil. They need to be stopped and torn down. And then they don't get anything back. It's not like Newt turns around and like smacks President Woman down and says, you're a shame to the wit. Like, she doesn't even get told off. They just obey her. That is the world of Harry Potter. That's the way all these movies have kind of been. These horrible governing systems that our good guys obey and don't battle the system, and that drives me nuts. Like, I just don't get it. So with all that said, those are the 7 reasons I was disappointed by it. It was fun. I was entertained enough. I wouldn't hate seeing this movie again, but at the end of the day, I was just like, you botched this. I want you to woo me in and tell a good story for an adult wanting to enter into this world. And it's like you've doubled down on some of the worst aspects of Harry Potter, the uneven tone, the misunderstanding of how people and governance systems work, allowing evil governments to reign the world and oppress people in an authoritarian fashion without portraying that as the evil that it is. All that stuff drives me nuts. It's all here in spades, and that's a problem for me. How about you? What did you think about it? Tell me in the comments section. Attack my 7 points. Let's have a great discussion. I've given you 7 things to respond to. Tell me which one of them is the most illogical, the stupidest. Let's have a great conversation. Or if you agree with me, tell me below, because I don't want to just talk about this movie that I didn't care for much. I want to talk about it with you. Let's have a great conversation down below. If you're new to my channel, you've never clicked that subscribe button, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I love to talk movies. I love to talk movies with you. I'm always in the comment section talking with people. As always, thank you for watching.